All righty. Good evening, everybody. A happy Tuesday to y'all. This is The Jam. We got myself here on the left, Miss Felicia running the show in the middle tonight, and Brandon Pope in for Amy Poper. How you doing, my friend?
I'm making it, man. Turn up Tuesday.
There we go. There we go.
We're going to make it a good one. Okay.
We are.
Turn it
I
up.
wish we could just keep positive vibes going through the entire show, but we got to talk about the big story of the day. And man, during the pandemic, it felt like we weren't talking about a lot of mass shootings. And certainly as soon as this country that loves our guns a ton reopens back up, it's another mass shooting we have to talk about on this show tonight. The seventh in the last week in the United States, this one in Colorado.
This cannot be our new normal. We should be able to feel safe in our grocery stores. We should be able to feel safe in our schools, in our movie theaters, and in our communities. We need to see a change because we have lost far too many lives.
10 people dead, the ages ranging from 20 to 65. One of the victims, a Boulder police officer, Eric Talley, who was the first officer to arrive on the scene. A witness took this video while shots were being fired inside the King Scoopers supermarket. It, of course, is horrifying, scary to watch what is happening there. The suspect taken into custody about an hour after the first 911 call.
The accused gunman is Ahmad Alalawi Alyssa, a 21-year-old from a Denver suburb. He was shot in the leg by police before his arrest. Investigators say he bought the gun just 6 days before the shooting. They're escorting him away. Alyssa is thought to be the only person involved. He is charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder.
And less than a day after flags were returned to full staff to honor the victims of the Atlanta shooting, they were lowered again today on President Biden's orders for the Boulder victims. The president called for legislative action on gun reform.
The United States Senate, I hope some are listening, should immediately pass the two House-passed bills that close loopholes in the background check system. These are bills that receive votes of both Republicans and Democrats in the House. This is not and should not be a partisan issue. This is an American issue. It will save lives, American lives, and we have to act.
In a Senate hearing this morning, Democrats and Republicans sparred over what is more important to focus on after a tragedy.
Prayer leaders have their important place in this, but we are Senate leaders. What are we doing? What are we doing other than reflecting and praying?
I agree. It is time for us to do something. And every time there's a shooting, we play this ridiculous theater. I don't apologize for thoughts or prayers. I will lift up in prayer people who are hurting, and I believe in the power of prayer. And the contempt of Democrats for prayers is an odd sociological thing.
Nothing I hate more than seeing the monopolization of religion by conservatives like that when it comes to tragedies like this. Many believe in the power of prayer. Doesn't matter what party you're in. This is a tragedy that, yeah, prayer matters, but we also want to see some action there as well.
Yeah, you started off, chatting about the flags coming down to half-mast. I don't know why we have the top half of a mast anyways in the United States of America. The number of times that we have to lower that thing after another mass shooting in this country. And look, we all look to our legislative leaders. But legislative leaders in different cities, in different states, and yes, even federally, have passed law after law after law to try and curb this thing. And they keep getting thrown out by the courts. You got a federal bench that now is 1/4 appointed by President Trump and plenty more appointed by other Republicans and Democrats too that aren't the best on gun control either. I guess my point is, what are we doing? What is the point? I don't even care what they're saying in the Senate anymore. It doesn't matter. They could ban assault weapons tomorrow. It doesn't matter. There's more guns in this country than there are human beings in this country. The only way we're ever going to change that is to repeal the Second Amendment, which is a mountain to climb, and a lot of people are against it, and I'm not sure where I fall on it either. But the rest of the debate, the rest of the laws passed, don't matter. It's all theater. Colorado banned mass weapons until a judge threw it out 2 weeks ago, and then this alleged suspect bought his weapon 6 days ago. So what does it matter?
So I appreciate just everything you guys are bringing to the table right now. I mean, thoughts and prayers are not enough. My thoughts are only with the families of these 10 people. Their lives absolutely changed forever. And I don't think they want to hear thoughts and prayers either. I imagine that they would want to see some kind of action, and I think about the victims of all the other past mass shootings or victims of gun violence. You would have thought that 21st graders at Sandy Hook would have been enough. Apparently not. And they keep, just kind of scoffing at them every time that our legislature fails to take action. I just really feel for the families. You guys know I support the Second Amendment and having someone's right to protect themselves, but I don't see where there's a place for semi-automatic weapons. And if there is, because people want to use them recreationally, then we can come to the table and talk about that. I'm just tired of both sides of this country yelling at each other and both of them saying no, when instead we could be looking at solutions to come to the table in some form of compromise of what that would look like. For example, if someone wanted to use these semi-automatic, these high-powered weapons of high-caliber, high-powered weapons, well, let's come up with a way where they can use them at ranges or use them for hunting or something like that. Use them in a way that is safer for everybody. I'm just tired of both yelling and saying, no, we need solutions. We need action.
Absolutely. We need action. The Bible says faith without works is dead. That means prayer matters, but I'm not just going to pray that I'm going to go get a sandwich at the end of the show. I actually have to go prepare that sandwich. It's not going to appear magically. There's got to be action behind it, and that's all people are calling for, is to stop seeing the killing. And there's a simple solution here, because there's a common denominator: the Pulse nightclub shooting, the Charleston shooting of the church at Mother Emanuel, the Atlanta shooting. You go down the list, the weapon is the same. It's an AR-15. And when you see the same thing happening over and over and over again, it's lunacy not to go to that common denominator and stop it. We can still have guns, but do you really need an AR-15 that has so many magazines?
So what are you going to ban the AR-15, and they're going to change the grip, and they're going to come out with the AR-16, and then you got to do this all over again? Like, this is the problem with these legislative solutions. They're going to get tossed by judges. You've got to change this federally, and the only way to do is with the constitutional amendment. And my problem is if I have checked out on this issue. Like, I just can't even get myself to get up on it anymore. And I feel like so many Americans feel the exact same way, because they know nothing will happen, and they're sick and tired of what's happening but they're able to brush it off because, like, it's not even 10 people died. That's another day in America. Well, I mean, it's going to take. Nothing will change, and this will happen. Mark my words. There will be a day when 1 or 2 or 3 mass shooters kill 100, kill 1,000 people in one place. That is what it is going to take, probably, for this country to wake up. It shouldn't have to, but it's going to happen one day. And I just pray that either I'm there with a gun myself to shoot back, or I am out of that area and not there. And it's all luck of the draw. Like, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have some sound that you want to share, right?
Yeah. Well, another interesting wrinkle of the debate is about this need for gun control comes from Chris Chang. He's a California marksman who won the History Channel's Top Shot competition. He went before the Senate to kind of talk about the racist roots of the gun control movement. Take a look.
The group that would surely suffer the most at the hands of gun control bills would be minorities who need to defend themselves and the ones that want to purchase a firearm for self-defense. I don't understand how our district attorney and the Oakland police chief right across the bay, who says that we shouldn't defend ourselves, that we should just be good witnesses. Well, you can't be a good witness when you're dead.
He actually added some discussion about the 1992 LA riots and about how the LA police were certainly understaffed for that situation. And many Korean Americans relied on their Second Amendment rights to protect themselves and their businesses. Felicia, I know you're a gun owner, and I want your thoughts on it.
He is 1,000% right with everything that he said. You never hear the NRA standing up for when a black man has a gun in his hand, or if he is prosecuted for having a gun, or you never see the NRA standing up for minorities with guns. Also, when you're talking about Black people and guns, Black people are oftentimes criminalized for having weapons, and it's looked down upon. In the Black community, it's a cultural thing where it's not fully embraced because it's like dangerous. Ooh, you don't want to touch it. You don't even want to be involved in it. When for white people, it is looked at as a sense of pride. You are an American. It is a part of your culture. Your American culture is a part of your rights. It's elevated and put on a pedestal. So even looking at how we view guns culturally within the culture and without, it's unfair completely.
Felicia, you said it so well. Basically, if Black people were the ones committing these shootings, if they were shooting up grocery stores and churches and things
The
like
laws
that,
would have been changed.
the law would have been changed years ago. When Sandy Hook happened, if it was a Black man, you would have seen gun control right then and there, because that's the thing. There is this, you kind of hit the nail on the head. There's this sense of pride with white Americans when it comes to guns, but there's fear associated with a Black person with a gun. Coincidentally, you're seeing, according to the stats, more Black people buying guns during this time of racial unrest and the pandemic and things like that. I wonder, I mean, if you were to see Black people storm the Capitol like what white people did during that insurrection attempt, how would the response differ? I
Ron
bet you there'd be a
Johnson
lot
told
of
you
laws
what the
changed.
response would be.
It would be a lot more
you.
people. It would be a lot more people dead, for sure, for certain.
Oh,
And
yeah,
let's not forget all the lobbying that happens behind the scenes as well, when we're talking about gun manufacturers and who has their hands in their pockets when we talk about the politicians that they support. This is about money and capitalism too.
Yeah, there's so much to it. All right.
Yeah,
Good talk, guys.
I hope we don't have
There's
to have this conversation again, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to move on though, okay? So coming up, we're continuing our Strong Women series with a woman who is both a global Nike trainer and a local gym owner. That's coming up after the break.
All right. Chicago in 60. Here we are. You ready? A Lakeview
Yes.
school named after a Swiss scientist who backed theories defending slavery could soon be named after a famous black woman. The Board of Education is going to finalize the vote tomorrow to strip Agassi Elementary of its connection to a man who opposed interracial marriage. Some suggestions out there are Harriet Tubman being the new name, and we'll see how that goes. Illinois Representative LaShawn Ford is resigning from the Laredo Hospital Board after reports of their improper distribution of the COVID vaccine. Ford says he disagreed with the hospital's decision to let 2 executives keep their jobs. That Laredo story really blowing up and unfolding over the past few weeks. LaShawn Ford making it clear he isn't happy with what's been going down there.
Sure. He ain't alone.
Yeah, and more than 200 permits have been filed for summer festivals in Chicago, but the mayor says not so fast. She says the future of fun will be determined on the case numbers and the vaccine distributions. John.
All right, let's get a look at your weather forecast. Tomorrow we wind up the rain that we're having this evening, and we cool down into the 50s by the end of the week. All in all, not too bad. This weather report sponsored by United Auto Insurance. Get your free quote, call or click today. Felicia.
Okay, like many businesses, gyms have been forced to adapt over the past year, offering virtual classes for at-home workouts and eventually transforming their spaces for social distancing. Well, today's strong woman knows this all too well. Emily Hutchins, Nike Run Club coach and owner of On Your Mark Studios in Chicago. Emily, thank you so much for being here. Can you just spotlight for a second what it's been like for your business over this last year?
Yeah, it's been a little challenging, but to be honest, it's been a unique experience to say the least, and it's been an opportunity to try to grow our communities bigger and better through doing a lot of virtual work. Now we are lucky enough to be back in person and still doing virtual, so it's about growing and changing and the ultimate navigating the entire fitness process.
Yeah, so where are you at in your phase of reopening? Are you guys doing mass workouts? Where are you at in your phase?
Yeah, everyone wears a mask in the workouts. At the studio I own, we're only doing about 10 people in a group, but we're also doing a lot of one-on-one training. And we even have our youth development back up in the gym safely. Everything is socially distanced. The entire team is doing a fantastic job of keeping everybody safe and following all CDC guidelines. And yeah, it's good to get people back in the gym and moving at a high level.
And how are people embracing the return to the gym? Are they lined up trying to get a class because you obviously have a limit on it, or are people still kind of hesitant?
There's a little bit of both. There's a lot of people who are really eager to get back in, and it's been very exciting for them. There are still people who are doing the virtual thing, either because they're away or because they're not quite ready for it yet. But either way, we're excited to see people moving. And I think right now that's what is really important, is just putting people in a position to be able to move, as that translates to a lot of benefits long-term, emotionally, physically, even spiritually for most people. So while they are starting to trickle back in a little bit, especially as vaccinations are taking place, it's just good to have people back in.
Certainly. And then what has been your experience? Obviously, we're talking to you because you're an awesomely run, woman-owned business here in the city. And what has been your experience in the fitness industry?
Yeah, I've been in it for a long time. So I started On Your Mark about 14 years ago, but I started in the industry about 21 years ago. So I've been fortunate enough to see the industry boom. When I first started out in Chicago a long time ago, it wasn't what it is now. And I think that speaks volumes for just how the industry has grown and how people are taking more of an initiative to do things for themselves and putting themselves in, environments to get stronger, get faster, all of that good stuff. But just really the change over time too, in terms of more of a focus on long-term progression versus just coming into the gym and, having a calorie burning session. It's much different now, and it's been very unique to see how the industry has gotten better.
Yeah, certainly better, more inclusive, and you're able to wear it on your sleeve. I imagine that being your superpower. That's cool.
Yeah.
um, And then lastly, just a few more seconds left. What do you want to share just about safety and those people who are sitting at home who are considering returning to the gym, but of course, people want their vaccines. They want to wait till things get a little safer. What can you reassure them?
I know a lot of gym owners in the area, and I can assure you that gym owners are doing the right thing. Everyone's taking the precautions to make sure that people are safe, whether it's social distancing and, of course, wearing masks and all that good stuff. But I do think that the client has to be ready to come back to. We understand that it's a process, and we have your best interest in hand, of course. But we understand that everyone's return to the gym is going to be different than the next person. So, and that's okay. But we're ready. We're very dialed. We're excited to see people coming back and moving.
Okay. Well, Emily, thank you so much for sharing, giving us some insight into your business and the industry and everything that's going on. We certainly celebrate you this Women's History Month and every month in that sense. Thank you. For more info, check out On Your Mark Studios on Facebook and on Instagram. And of course, you can head to oymtraining.com. John?
All right, coming up, we're going to tell you why everyone is talking about a social media relationship expert's latest viral video. It puts a new spin on Stand By Your Man. You don't want to miss this. Coming up in a bit. All right, news you need to know. About 1,000 Illinois prison inmates could soon be released after a settlement in federal court. The decision means that inmates near the end of their sentences could get out because of the risks of COVID-19 spreading in the facilities. All right, the jury set for the Derek Chauvin murder trial of the 15 jurors, which includes the 3 backup jurors. 9 of them are white, 4 are black, and 2 are of mixed race. And the head of the U.S. Post Office wants to cut postal hours, raise the cost of stamps, and slow down delivery times over the next 10 years. Those sound like 3 things that do the opposite of what I want. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy's plan is being met with plenty of criticism, especially from Democrats who want him removed. All right, plenty more coming up on The Jam. We'll be back, and as we head to break, a live look at the Royal Sonesta Chicago Riverfront Cam.
So is that moving up?
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is. You see a B?
No. I'm scrolling.
All I really need is a little bit. Not a lot, baby girl, just a little bit.
Time for
I'm
a
sorry.
little update. I love when we
I
have a
laugh
little
every
update.
time.
Yes, yeah. Isn't that a great graphic, great music? All right,
It
so this
is.
one is a follow-up story about Dwayne Wade. Yeah, a little story that started last year with Lil Boosie, artist formerly known as Lil Boosie. He went on a rant about Dwayne Wade's transgender daughter, Zaya. He said Wade was going, quote, too effing far by supporting Zaya's transition, and he took a lot of heat for that. Apparently was banned from his local Planet Fitness for that. Now, nearly a year later, Wade is thanking Boosie for his
that's the best
transphobic
sentence
comments.
that's ever been. Hold on, no, stop. That is the best sentence that's ever been uttered in the world. Banned from his local Planet Fitness. Girl, they take anybody.
I don't want to get banned
Yeah.
from the Planet Fitness either.
I mean, I think it's kind of lame
It's
that
a
he goes
penalty.
to a Planet Fitness. That's the funniest part. I mean,
Keep
go to
going.
a real gym, bro. All right. Well, he took a lot of heat, banned from the Planet Fitness. Now, a year later, Wade is thanking Boosie for his transphobic comments. He said that the controversy led to more and more press about his daughter Zaya, which sparked important conversation about transgender kids. And I mean, I definitely agree.
That's
Dwayne
true.
Wade took so much heat, so much flack, but I think this is something that a lot more families are dealing with than we actually talk about. And so I'm sure a lot of those families too felt like, wow, this is encouraging to see.
And because it was a Black family at the forefront, and then, of course, a rapper, it was like all members of the Black community who were bringing this topic to the forefront. And the Black community tends to be very conservative on topics like this when you're talking about the LGBTQ plus community, especially when you're talking about a transgender community. So I just love that it was a conversation in the first place. It was unfortunate that it happened for the reason being, but I can see that there would be a silver lining here. Extremely progressive of Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union to embrace this like this. I don't always, though, agree with how public they made it just because he's a child, but it was still a good conversation.
Who was the Lil yesterday that was made that wanted straight Pride Day?
That was Lil Mama. Lil Mama.
All right, so Lil Mama, Lil Boosie. I guess we could say that LGBT, the L doesn't stand for Lil. That's all I'm saying. So,
okay.
Thank you.
All right.
We'll be back. Thanks for the laugh, Brandon.
Good one, John. Good one.
Welcome back to the Jam, everybody. I know we got a lot to get to. We're just learning that Indiana's dropping their mask mandate on April 8th for all of our viewers in Northwest Indiana. I was kind of surprised Indiana still had a mask mandate, to be perfectly honest. But you're still going to have to go when you get a vaccine. And it's up to businesses, which a lot of people advocate for. So they're the sixth state to go against those CDC guidelines. Just an FYI. Welcome to the show.
Good to know. I will be staying away from Indiana until this pandemic
They don't want
is
you,
over.
Brandon. They don't want you.
I'm sure they don't. I'm sure they don't. All right, guys. A sad note here. We're going to talk about the story that's really reeling the nation right now. First, Atlanta. Now, Boulder, Colorado. The country is grappling with its second mass shooting in a week, which is wild. 10 people are dead, aged 20 to 65. One of the victims is Boulder police officer Eric Talley, who was the first officer to arrive at the scene. The suspect was taken into custody about an hour after the first 911 call. Police say his motive is still unknown at this time. It comes 10 days after a judge blocked Boulder from enforcing a citywide assault weapons ban.
All right, Innovative Express is being cut off from vaccinations after the city says they knowingly misallocated or gave away to other people, in layman's terms, over 6,000 doses. A lot of those were supposed to be for CPS officials, right? Because the back to school thing, a lot of them were supposed to get vaccines quickly. Yeah, no, Innovative Express gave them away to other people. Not only that, the city's health department says that they started giving away some people's second doses. So like you came and you got one, you have a second one reserved for you. Apparently they were giving away those second doses to other people for their first dose, which sounds like a vaccine pyramid scheme, because at the end of it, you don't have any vaccines for the people who need it. What is happening with vaccines in this city?
Clear mismanagement from some places. So I guess I have a hard time wrapping my head around the penalty, though, of taking them all away. So where are they going once they're being taken away? What I don't want them to do is just sit in the freezer somewhere. I want them to be pushed through the other places that we have seen them distributing them correctly. I'm hoping they get pushed through there, the United Center or other hospitals or something like that. They keep saying that they're taking them away, just like Laredo Hospital. Where are they going is my question.
Yeah, I want some more context on it too, because we had a story not too long ago about some vaccines. I think it was in Portland or something like that. And the man in charge, he got in trouble. I think he was taken to court because he gave away vaccines because after a while, they had some left and they go expired pretty quickly. So I wonder if part of that may be at play here. Maybe
6,
not. Maybe I'm giving them too much grace.
You are giving them too much grace. 6,000. 6,000.
That's a lot.
And you don't give away people's second dose. Like, they're waiting for that second dose. By the way, they are saying that even though they are taking away the vaccines from them, if you did get your first dose there, you can still get your second dose there. So if you're wondering about that, I assume that they'll make sure that second dose is there. I mean, this mismanagement is crazy. I know there's a lot of great things that are happening with the vaccines in this city. I know there are some great, well-meaning people that are getting the job done, and this stinks because it sheds a bad light on them. But like, why do we have to be corrupt about this? Why do we have to be corrupt about it? I know we're a corrupt city. Look, we're number one for a reason, right? And we go for it. But not this time.
Yeah, look at me and Brandon, not shocked.
Not one bit. I mean, I think we knew as soon as Chicago was going to get vaccines, this is going to be something that was going to happen, right? This may be surprising.
I'm thinking about. Yeah, you were talking about the second dose. You guys know I have had my second dose already, and I went on a day that was specific to second dose people. So everyone who went to, mine was at the UIC Pavilion through UI Health. That's where I went, my medical provider. And everybody who went through there, all were there for second dose. So it's like they have already planned out and allocated these doses. So to give it away or to improperly plan, it just shows, improper planning. It just shows that you dropped the ball.
Bernie Madoff running this. Okay, we'll move on.
Okay. Well, we also have more to kind of rant about, okay? We're asking, where's all the unity? That's what our girl, Chicago Tribune columnist Heidi Stevens, has us asking after she penned her most recent article. A year ago, we were all singing in harmony. Look. Let me tell you, unity, Bon Jovi, the American way. The American way. But now people are vacationing recklessly, fighting on airplanes, fighting over masks, fighting over safety protocols, all while jumping the line for vaccines, as we just heard in our last story. So it kind of feels like the unity has been a bit abandoned. It's been a bit abandoned.
It's because there never wasn't a unity. That's the reason. I think we do these, performative displays of, oh, let's be united and all this type of stuff that kind of make me cringe. I mean, I didn't do the singing out the window thing. I think that's lame. But like, that's just not for me. The unity's gone, right? Because as you had political leaders and other people that maybe in your friend circle spreading their own misinformation and doubts and this and that starts to get in people's heads as they get more exhausted with the pandemic. And yeah, the unity's gone. We're not on the same page anymore at all.
Two
if we
things.
ever were.
Number one, John Bovee, I think you just lost your invitation to the picnic, Felicia.
I did. It's okay. I wasn't going to the picnic, but
is that what they call y'all? The picnic?
Yeah, that's called the picnic.
I wasn't going, but yes.
Point number two. I'm fine without the unity. All right, so like World War II, we have unity run mainly through the idea of propaganda through our government. You have unity after 9/11, which rightfully so, right? We should bind together as a country. But then we put our blinders on and enter two wars in the Middle East because of the idea of unity. Unity sometimes isn't all it's cracked up to be. It might make you feel good for a few seconds, but honest discourse about what happens in our country, the disagreements that you highlighted, Brandon, about those things, calling people out for their crap and their lies and their stupidity and all that other stuff is important to do.
But see, I would even kind of fight the notion that we should even label it good or bad, unity, not unity. Honestly, I think it's just really us being humans. And there are amazing, beautiful sides of humanity and not so beautiful sides of humanity. I think it's just people being people. And we saw the extremes of it over the last 12 months, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, we've been waiting to talk about this all day long, so let's get to it, okay?
Yes.
When relationship guru YouTuber Derek Jackson posted his most recent video, this week he had a special guest. It was his wife of 4 years and a surprise announcement. Look.
The truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derek Jackson was involved with other women.
Derek Jackson involved with other women. Relationship guru. He gives advice on good, healthy relationships. Okay. He publicly confirmed cheating rumors and talked about how the two are coming together to heal. But the internet is not buying this apology. Okay. He's being called out for hypocrisy and his wife's role in the video. I want to show you this one tweet. It shows the extremes of how the internet feels, saying, I would rather swallow melting glass than hold my husband's hand while he tells the world that he had sex with other women. The internet was on fire today. Everybody was talking about this.
It's hilarious.
It's too far.
It's crazy because I remember being in relationships with women and having women friends who would send me this dude's videos talking about how terrible men are and what a real man does. You mean to tell me this man right here was in his side chick's driveway recording videos in his car talking about not cheating, and he was cheating?
Look how he's holding her hand and look at her face. Just a stone. Not that you expect her to be like happy smiling, but when you're just looking at the body language, it doesn't look like a healthy relationship.
No, not at all.
Look at John. And I'm upset that we're even talking about this in the first place. Like, you should keep your personal business to your person, but it's not even about the cheating. Well,
you're the one
also like a little drama too, John. We like a little drama too, but I didn't put it out there. I got to talk about it because they put the video out there, all because he wanted to go lay with other women. It's his fault, as usual. But go ahead, John. I got to let you talk.
I'm piggybacking on what Brandon's saying. I think you're getting there too. And if you see this phrase here, relationship expert, if you see life coach, anything like that, those are blinking warning signs to run the other way. Because nobody knows how to do anything. We're all faking in our lives. Nobody. I don't care what you
some good stuff for relationship experts.
No, no. People spend more time talking about relationships than actually doing them. It's ridiculous to me.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Let me be clear though. It's people have missteps. So I guess in a sense, it's not even 100% judgment on his misstep. It's the fact that he was giving the advice. It's the hypocrisy that doesn't sit well with people. And I've been analyzing this all day long and in a bunch of group chats. I just want to say, so he was making money off of this. It feels icky because even his apology video felt so self-serving. Not only was he did not get his wife dressed right. You know, you're supposed to tell your partner like, no, why don't you do this? You know, my husband helps me dress all the time. You don't let your partner go out there looking crazy. We thought that was a bonnet. I think he confirmed that it was a hat on her head, although it still looks like a bonnet. You know, if your man is going to announce some stuff like this, you're supposed to come dressed to the nine, okay? You are supposed to stunt on everybody out here. If you're going to go out, you better go out looking like a dime. I can't believe that she got on this video and didn't dress appropriately. Also, this video was so self-serving. She gained nothing from this video. Not one thing did she gain from this video besides standing by a man that clearly has an ego because he was about to get found out because one of the women he cheated with was about to come out, which is a whole nother part of this story. But it feels icky. I hate that we know all of their drama anyway.
Yeah. I want every woman who sent me one of these videos from Derek Jackson to publicly apologize to me because this man is a fraud. He's a simp. And I've been trying to tell y'all that for a long time. And here it is right in front of us. It makes me laugh. I feel terrible for this woman, but ha, ha, ha. What a fraud. Yes. Get him out here.
Not the point and laugh.
Derek,
oh, man.
I'm just looking at the calendar, making sure we don't have any life coaches coming up on the show because I'm sure I won't be interviewing them. Go ahead, Brandon.
All right, guys. Great discussion. And coming up, a Chicago suburb is making history by making amends. I'll have the details in the news you need to know. All right, news you need to know, and there's big history being made in Evanston. It's now the home of the nation's first government reparations plan after passing the city council with an 8-1 vote. It's going to make $400,000 available in 25,000 home ownership grants and mortgage assistance programs. Alderman Robin Rue Simmons is the woman who's really been pushing this from the beginning. She says she's happy to see progress, but this is just the beginning of reparations and what they can do for the residents there in Evanston.
It alone is not the reparations that we are hoping for, but it certainly is a huge step in the right direction. It's $10 million more of a commitment than any other city has made specifically for the Black community. And I'm just really proud of our city council. I'm proud of our city at large. And I'm really encouraged of the trajectory that we're going in.
And any Black resident who can actually show they're a direct descendant of someone born between 1919 and 1969 in Evanston is eligible for this. There are some detractors, though. They argue that housing assistance is not a credible enough path to reparations. But as Robin Rue Simmons says here, there is more to be done, and she plans on pushing for more to be done as well.
I'm a big fan of it. I'm also a big fan of where they get the revenue from a lot of the pot sales that are happening now. I think that makes total sense. Here's the thing about the word. I love it. I think the one concern I have is not about the actual program. It's about the word reparations. I think that's a very dividing term for a lot of people. I'm not saying it should be. I'm saying it is. I feel like it has a similar effect to defund the police. I think a lot of people close their ears and eyes as soon as they hear that because they think it means something that it doesn't. And I feel like, I don't know if there needs to be a rebranding or whatever, but I think a lot of communities are going to follow suit on this. I certainly hope that's the case. I think this is a real great way. It's not perfect. It's not cash. Maybe there is no perfect way to do it. I think it's a great step in the right direction.
Yeah, everything you just said, so on point, John. The connotation behind it is just already one that gets, I think, a lot of people, and I'll say white people, I think it makes white people uncomfortable when you start talking about reparations.
I'll say white people for you there, Felicia. Yeah.
I think it makes an uncomfortable conversation, but the fact that they are choosing housing to do this, and I think we had this conversation a couple weeks ago on the show, because housing is what created the wealth gap. Well, there are a lot of things, but housing is one of the things that created the wealth gap between Black Americans and white Americans. And so white Americans today make 10 times more than Black Americans when you're looking at the wealth gap and comparing the two. And so for them to be using housing as an avenue to do this, when in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, Black people were pushed out of housing, of becoming homeowners and putting those seeds in the ground for wealth. They were pushed out of that. So for several different reasons in several different ways when you talk about discriminatory housing. So the fact that they're doing that here is absolutely commendable, it's beautiful, and at the very least, it is acknowledgement and recognition of the wrongs that were done in this country and how they still affect us to today and how they need to be righted.
It's just encouraging to finally see something being done here. For years, people said reparations can't be done. It's not feasible. No one's going to get on board with that. It just can't. It's just a non-starter. They said that for years, just like they do with defund the police.
For years.
But it took someone with an imaginative mind, an imaginative policymaker, to stand up and go through the grind work and the language and finding the right funding, which she found with the marijuana passing through Illinois. That was a big opener to this as well. And now you have this imaginative policy that's going to help so many people. And so it's just great to see leaders who are willing to step outside of the no, we can't do this, or it will never get done this way, and finding other ways to get it done. I think that is the future.
You use those words.
Like that. Yeah, just we need to see
love
more leaders
that you use those words, creative and reimagining our communities and what they could be like. And just because we're talking about it today, I'll throw gun control into that conversation. Let's get creative, okay? But particularly with this issue, being able to reimagine what we're doing and how we tackle it. And after last year and all these stimulus checks I saw come through, you can't tell me anything is impossible, because when we passed this legislation in record time, not once, not twice, but 3 times so far, and there's talks of another stimulus check with a stimulus bill possibly on the way.
Really?
The fact that we did that, you can't tell me it's not possible, and you can't tell me that we don't have funds.
Mm-hmm. You all said it very well. Yeah, for sure. Hey, by the way, coming up, I have a packet of underwear I'll be talking about this. It'll make sense in our deep dish topic coming up afterwards. That's a tease, everyone. Although we might have lost some viewers.
That's not a script, everyone.
Take a look really quickly at this future cast. This is the rain towards the end of the show through the overnight hours. Scattered rumble of thunder possible overnight. But as we look at the 7-day forecast brought to you by United Auto Insurance, look at that wipe on through. We are a professional program. Temperatures in the 50s. Into the weekend, on and off rain here coming up. We'll be back. Oh, by the way, that's brought to you by United Auto Insurance. Get your free quote, call, or click today. We'll be right back.
Play cue music. Cue music.
For showing me your underwear.
All right, if you got a job interview coming up, it may not be in person, it might be over the camera, but you still have to dress for success. And Lauren Ward Martin has tips to look your best without the stress.
You do want to have on professional attire. For ladies, a dress or a nice blouse, and for men, a clean cut shirt or a tie with a button up. You definitely want to avoid a lot of jewelry. You see, I do have on pearls, but I have on studs and a necklace. It gives you more of that elegant look, but you don't want to do like overly sized hoop earrings. When it comes to makeup, keep it simple and basic. You really want to go for a soft, fresh, and natural look.
Don't tell Felicia about those hoops. All right, we are partnering with Cara and CD1 Price to help Chicagoans get back on their feet. It's an awesome program. We've already donated over 4,000 items of clothing. And if you have plans to clean out your closet, take your new or gently worn business clothes to donate at your local CD1 Price. Head to cw26chicago.com for more details on how to donate. And we'll be right back.
Okay, guys. So let me tell you a little story. Today I had to call the mortgage company. I had to call the insurance company. And those frustrating phone calls had me thinking about, how Beyonce would handle this situation, which I think about a lot of situations. What would Beyonce do? But you got to know Beyonce wouldn't have a mortgage, and she probably doesn't have insurance because that's not what rich people do. But she would have a personal assistant. It's exactly what I need. I need that in my life. So I need one to prepare meals 100%. I mean, I need one for everything, but prepare meals and make all these phone calls that I have to do for my personal and then for our businesses and stuff. I just don't want to call any 1-800 number ever.
I like it. I like to think that if I had a personal assistant, they would, do things like tweet for me, post on social media for me. I would just tell them.
That's your favorite part of the day.
I'd say something witty and be like, "Yo, tweet that," and they would do that, and it'd be kind of cool.
A scribe. He wants a scribe.
Yeah, like a scribe. Like tweet this GIF, and I would describe the GIF to them, and they go find the GIF, and it's tweeted. That's probably what I would use it for, and also sending emails and stuff like that.
Get an intern to do that for you, Brandon.
Please.
He just out-millennialed every millennial out there with that statement.
He was out Gen Z.
Managing social media is a job. It's a job.
Yeah.
It's
tough. It's tough. You do a good job at it, though. So I have this underwear, right? Okay, this is a 5-pack. It came in the mail, and it didn't fit. I won't tell you where it didn't, but it didn't. So I have had this package of underwear for 2 months ready to return it. I have the QR code ready to return it. I'm just dropping it off at a Whole Foods because apparently that's the thing that Amazon does. And it's 2 blocks that way. And I cannot bring myself to do it. I cook every day. I have no problem doing that. I have no problem doing some other things. I can't bring myself to walk 2 blocks to return a bag of underwear.
I'm not good at that either. I am so bad at I will not buy something because I'm I'm not going to return it. I know I'm not.
Yeah.
So much money.
It's right there. Just make a little afternoon of it.
I'm all about returning. Get my money back. I'll go to Whole Foods, go to the Amazon thing. They box it for you.
You should start a service, Brandon, returning stuff for people, and then you get some of the money back.
Maybe
I only tried 2 pairs on. If you want to take this back for me, I would greatly appreciate it. It's sealed. It's hermetically sealed. You're totally fine. All right, have a great night, everyone. We will see you here tomorrow for our Hump Day show.
Bye, everybody.